Welcome back, everyone. Now, our next keynote speech is going to be about healthcare policy and how it affects you. Healthcare policy has become a hotbed for debate and discussion in our country, fueled by the media's incessant coverage of housemanship programs and the oversupply of medical graduates flooding our nation's training hospitals. With our housemanship system approaching its breaking point, and with a potential overhaul of our public and private healthcare system being considered, we believe it is time for our medical students to become more informed, which will enable them to plan and make decisions regarding their futures in Malaysian healthcare. Among the various topics we hope to cover in this forum are the quality of housemanship training, the possibility of a Malaysian medical licensing exam, which will be the main focus of his talk, and the viability of the proposed One Care system and the improvements to the specialization programs in Malaysia.
Professor Dato Dr. Mafauzy is currently the Director of Campus, Professor of Medicine and Senior Consultant Endocrinologist at University Science Malaysia. He is actively involved in academic research and has to date obtained over 100 research grants. He has been Chief Editor of the Malaysian Journal of Medical Sciences, Journal of ASEAN Federation of Endocrine Societies, and Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism, and has himself published over 100 papers in national and international journals. And so we are thankful for his time with us today. Before I invite him onto the stage, we would also like to remind you that there will be a discussion session with Professor Dato Dr. Mafauzy after his speech, accompanied by our guest speaker, Dr. Ng Swee Chun, seated in front here, where you will have the opportunity to pose questions to them with regards to this implementation of the MMLE. So without further ado, Professor.
Assalamualaikum and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to IMCs for introducing me. You won't be wondering, Doctor, you're coming up here? I just was you were wondering where I was, but I was loading my slides down there, that's why you didn't see me down there. I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to speak to you on this topic, especially Ziyang, who's been in touch with me and arranging my transfer here and so on. So the question of the Malaysian medical licensing examination, I'm quite surprised that many of you know that, and some of you know that even I'm the chairman of that committee in the Malaysian Medical Council. But I suppose nowadays it's difficult to keep things under wrap. Everybody knows, because of the internet and so on. And secondly, I think I take this opportunity on behalf of the Malaysian Medical Council to explain, because we have to do a lot of buy-in from the stakeholders, mainly the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, of course the parents and the students, about what the licensing examination is all about and why we want to do it. Because there's a lot of apprehension on this, a lot of concern, simply because some people think that it's an additional hurdle for students to practice in the country, so they see this as a trouble. And secondly, they see this as a way of trying to control the numbers of doctors. Okay? So that is the, as I would say, the misconception about licensing examination. It's neither both. Okay? It's not an additional hurdle for any graduates to practice medicine in the country. Neither it is a system where we want to control the numbers. Okay? That is not the intention of trying to have this licensing examination. I will go through what is the main reason why the Malaysian Medical Council wants to impose this examination. Yeah. I think two. Somehow the factors come up very well. Right? Never mind. licensing examination is not something which is new. Okay? This is not something that the Malaysian Medical Council invented. It's been around for many years. Okay? And it's been practiced in many countries. The most famous of it will be in North America, okay? Where you have the United States MMLE, United States Medical Licensing Examination. Okay? I'm sure some of you have taken the MMLE. Okay? Can I have a show of hands? How many of you have taken the MMLE? None. Oh, that's which means you are not interested in trying to go to the US, maybe for your postgraduates and so on. Okay? Because, and personally, if you want, I think Dato Dr was mentioning something about post-graduation and specialization. And if you think of doing some training, okay, in the US later on, okay, not that you want to practice in the US, but you just want to go to the US and practice, then I suggest you take the USMLE. Okay? And it's better for you to take it now, okay, when you're still fresh from your final examination, because you have the knowledge. If you have waited until you have gone through 4 or 5 years of medical officers appointment and tried to take the USMLE, then it's going to be very difficult. Okay? Because it's better for you to take it now. Okay? So that's my advice. If any one of you thinks about going to sub-specialization later on and wants to go to the US, at least spend 1 or 2 years there to gain experience and so on, I suggest, okay, for you to take USMLE, because you can basically go there and work there, at least get some hands-on experience. So USMLE have been around there for many years. There are a couple of stages. Stage 1, then that's basically theoretical. Then you have stage 2 parts, the CK, clinical knowledge, okay, which is again a lot of theory, and you have the CS, the clinical skills for you to, where they have usually mannequins and so on, and surrogate patient. So they have various stages. And of course, somehow or other, the number 2 is actually Canadian. Okay? They have the Canadian medical examination as well, licensing examination. And that's again been going on for many years. And the difference between licensing examination is that it is a requirement for people to take the examination before they get registered as a professional body. Okay? Professional bodies like the Malaysian Medical Council, for instance, it's where you license yourself. If you are licensed and given the registration in the Malaysian Medical Council, then you have the right to practice as a doctor. Okay? So it's like driving a car. You have to have a driving license to be allowed to drive a car. If you don't have that license, okay, if you don't not given the license by the professional body anywhere in the world by that, then you cannot practice. If you practice medicine, for instance, without being registered in a professional body, then it is against the law. Okay? It's a criminal breach. Okay? So you can be prosecuted, okay, for practicing a profession without being registered to practice a profession. So that's what licensing examination is all about. Okay? It's about being allowed to register in a medical council of any particular country, okay? And with that, then you have a license to practice, okay, medicine. So that is the reason why they have professional bodies like councils. National Medical Council is slightly different from Malaysian Medical Association. For you, even I read the press, they get confused between Malaysian Medical Association and Malaysian Medical Council. Malaysian Medical Association is a society. It's a society of doctors who wants to, it's like having a society where people of the same profession sit down together and have activities for the benefits of the members. And also sometimes you also have some social responsibility. So it is an association. Okay? It's just like a social club for doctors. Whereas a council is more of a regulatory body. Okay? The function of the Malaysian Medical Council is one, to be a registered body where if you're registered with the Malaysian Medical Council, then you can practice medicine in Malaysia. okay, like any other countries as well. And secondly, our function of the Malaysian Medical Council is to maintain the standards of practice of medicine, okay, as an assurance to the public, okay, and also as a quality assurance to the doctors. Okay, so we look at professional conduct, okay, professional misconduct. So patients can complain to the Malaysian Medical Council if they think a doctor has conducted something which is not professional. Okay, so and we will have hearings and so on. And the most severe punishment that the Malaysian Medical Council can meet is that we can re-register the person. Okay, if you're deregistered as a doctor, then you cannot practice medicine. Okay? And if you cannot practice medicine, then if you're caught for practicing medicine without being registered, without a valid license, then you can be prosecuted. Okay, so that is the function of the Malaysian Medical Council. So we are the custodian, the guardian of medical practice in Malaysia. So this is not unique to Malaysia. Okay, it is worldwide. United States medical license, as I mentioned, Canada have the same. That anyone who wants to practice medicine in Canada will have to take the examination and pass the examination before they are registered with the council professional body. Okay? So it is also not only for foreigners, but it's also for citizens of Canada as well. Closer to home, okay, the third bullet was supposed to be for Thailand. Okay? Thailand also have their licensing examination. Okay? Anyone who wants to practice in Thailand will have to take the examination, including their own graduates. Okay? So graduates from Mahidol University, for instance, before they want to practice in Thailand, they have to take the examination. Okay? And then in Thailand, this is conducted by this Center for Medical Competency Assessment and Accreditation. Okay? So in Thailand, what happens is they outsource this examination to be done by this center. It's like your SPM and your STPM is conducted by the examination board, Nation Examination Board, okay, or CDK. So that's what in Thailand. And Indonesia as well, they also have a licensing examination. They call the examination Ujian Kompetensi Dokter. Okay, anyone from Indonesia? No, okay, no Indonesian medical. Oh, yes, one. Okay, so they have that. Okay, as well. So irrespective of where you graduate from, whether you graduate from University of Indonesia or University of Sumatra Utara, whatever, okay, they have to take this examination before they can practice in Indonesia. Okay, and in Philippines as well, they have Philippine Physician Licensure Examination. So it is not only in the Western countries, but even in our area. The reason why I'm alluding to this is that for the next couple of slides later, when I'm trying to explain why Malaysian Medical Council is embarking on this effort as well. Okay, so they have this. So irrespective of whether a Filipino citizen who graduates from University of Philippines or University of Mindanao or St. Thomas University, whatever, before they can be given the license to practice as a doctor in Philippines, they have to take the examination. Okay? Now, I think we have always followed UK. Okay, United Kingdom is like our kiblat. Okay, anything we do is we follow whatever the UK does. Okay? And even UK, I'm sure that many of you are UK undergraduates, medical students. Just to let you know that we have followed the UK. We never had a licensing examination before. What we do is we have recognition. Okay? If you recognize this university, then they are given automatic registration with the Malaysian Medical Council. Okay? So this is what the UK have been doing. Okay? If you graduate from particular university, okay, not only the UK universities but even foreign universities, they will recognize you and give you automatic registration. Okay? For instance, like in Malaysia, one time you all know about University of Malaya was given that so-called automatic recognition before, but after that they withdrew. Yeah, they withdrew the automatic recognition, and the main reason, there are many UM graduates here, it's not because they think that the UM curriculum is inferior. is because they taught the language of medium of instruction. Okay? For that particular program, Malaysia is in Bahasa Malaysia. Okay? So one of the main reasons they have before they give automatic recognition is that the medium of instruction for that particular course must be in English. Okay? So if it's done in other language, then that will not be given recognition. So the reason why they withdrew that recognition and is because of that. It's not because they think the graduates are of inferior quality. Okay, just to let you know that there are many graduates, undergraduates here. So so we have followed that in the sense that if you recognize a particular university, okay, then they are given automatic recognition and registration by the Malaysian Medical Council. And as you all know, that Malaysian Medical Council is probably one of the most generous of the Malaysian councils worldwide, where there are about 270 medical schools worldwide, okay, that have been recognized by the Malaysian Medical Council. So that's why we have people in Indonesia, we have people in Russia, we have people in Poland, okay, not apart from UK and US, for instance, that can come in with the degree, okay, and with this transcript. They are given automatic registration by the Malaysian Medical Council. So we follow that. Yeah? And UK have been following that, and they have run into problems because of that. Okay? Those people from UK will know. Okay? Because UK now have joined the EU community, the European community. Okay? And because of that, by the fact that they are in European community, then they cannot discriminate, okay, against citizens from other countries. So even if you graduate from Italy, no, or from Poland or from Spain, okay, then when they want to register with the General Medical Council of the UK, then they have to give them automatic recognition and registration, okay, because that they don't have an examination for the UK graduate or UK citizens for them to be registered. So they cannot impose that on citizens of the EU. Okay? You all know about PLAB, okay, from the UK. PLAB is only for examination for citizens from outside the EU countries. Okay? If you're from the EU country, then you don't have to sit for the PLAB, even though you may not know a word of English. Okay? Because in Italy, for instance, the medium of instruction is Italian. But because of the EU agreement, the General Medical Council will have to give automatic recognition, okay, or registration to citizens from Italy, from Spain, from Portugal, as long as they're in EU. And they run into problems with that. Okay? Because basically these people come and want to work in the UK, and they have, because of that, they cannot discriminate citizens from EU countries from the UK. The General Medical Council have to give them automatic recognition, automatic registration with the GMC, and they are eligible to work in the UK. They run into problems. I know many of you from Spain have problems because some Italians from Spain are not just they're not so good in English. They'll probably be, when they work, they misinterpret things, and a lot of issues have come up. Okay? So because of that, okay, the UK, I'm taking this from the webpage of the General Medical Council, saying that they also wanted to have a licensing examination. This licensing examination is for everybody who wants to register with the General Medical Council. They have to take this examination before they give a registration, including British citizens. Okay? And the reason to say is that designed to give patients assurance about competence and quality of those treating them, regardless of where they receive the training. Okay? In the UK or elsewhere. And basically say that they want to create a level playing field for entry into medicine in the UK. Okay? Medicine must be non-discriminatory. Okay? So UK is going to do this, and I'm told that perhaps in the next 3 to 4 years, this examination will become a reality, because they've already started the process going. Okay? But to be honest with you, the Malaysian Medical Council, the idea of having this license examination started many years ago. Okay? Not because the UK decided to have a license examination. We have also thought of this even before this. Okay? But with the UK now trying to come up with a licensing examination, I think we have a stronger case now, okay, to put forward to why we need a licensing examination. Because if the UK does it, then Malaysia should also do it. Okay? Apart from the fact that the US and Canada and other countries have been doing this many years before. Okay? Now, why do we need a licensing examination? Okay? There are basically two reasons. Okay? The first reason is that the different medical education standards of different countries. Okay? We are not so much worried about their standards in Malaysian universities. Okay? As you know, the Malaysian university, the quality assurance of a medical program in Malaysia is being controlled by the Malaysian Qualifications Agency. Okay, somebody's mentioned that before. And of course, the Malaysian Qualifications Agency, which is required by all academic programs in the country, will need to have to go through this so-called accreditation of standards. Okay? And for the medical program, they have given it more or less to MMC to decide. So MMC works very closely with the Malaysian Qualifications Agency to ensure the standards of medical education, medical program in Malaysia, with public universities or private universities. Okay? So we're not too concerned about this. What we're concerned about is from other countries. Okay? Some countries, as you know, okay, they don't even touch patient in the undergraduate years, okay, because they're not allowed to touch patient. They only learn on mannequins, okay, and only from videos, etc., and so on. They can't even examine or even touch a patient. Okay? Whereas the Malaysian standard is that the moment you step in as a house officer, okay, you should be able to treat the patient, examine the patient, take history from the patient, examine the patient, okay, come up with your problem list, differential diagnosis, and order investigations, able to take blood, okay, able to do certain procedures like catheterization and so on. Okay? So our emphasis is more about clinical competence. Okay? And some countries in the world, they produce medical graduates. They don't produce doctors. Okay? But the Malaysian requirement is that we produce doctors. We don't just produce medical graduates. Okay? So that becomes an issue. And the second thing is that once we recognize the country, it is for eternal in our registered list. Okay? So what happened in the countries after that? Okay? Then take for instance Iraq. Okay? University of Baghdad is listed as a recognized university in our central schedule of the Malaysian Medical Act. Okay? Perhaps 20 years ago, 30 years ago, University of Baghdad was probably one of the top universities in the Middle East. Okay? But now, you know what happened to Iraq. So if a person were to come from University of Baghdad today and register with the Malaysian Medical Council, he'll be given automatic registration. Okay? Even though we probably do not know the standards. Okay? And this is what happened, because when we do recognition, visit to recognize a particular university, it's done once, and then it becomes eternal. Okay? And what happened in between, okay? Standards have changed. Then that's not within our control. So we cannot control the quality program, assurance program of foreign universities. We can control for our Malaysian universities. So that is one why if we have a license examination, then we can have a common standard registering examination for all doctors, whether it be for Malaysian universities or even for foreign universities. So that's number one. I think the second one is more important. I think that's actually the main reason why the Malaysian Medical Council wants to have the licensing examination. It's because of the ASEAN Free Trade Agreement. Okay? Now we'll go through what the ASEAN Free Trade Agreement is. Okay? And then after, as you all know, is mainly comprehensive economic partnership. Okay? And then they have now expanded that to include Australia, China, India, Japan, South Korea, and New Zealand as well. Okay? And with this, so what does the free trade agreement? So you think trade is just goods, okay? You buy cars, okay? You buy refrigerators, air conditions, and so on. Okay? But when you talk about trade, okay, the other thing that is services, okay? It is not just goods, but it is services. Okay? And unfortunately, fortunately, or unfortunately, services includes healthcare professionals. Okay? So what does it mean? Okay? What it means is that we cannot discriminate by if a person, if a particular doctor is registered, say, by the Thai Medical Council to practice in Thailand, okay? Then when the person comes to Malaysia and wants to practice in Malaysia, we have no choice, okay, but to give them registration, okay? Because if we do, then it's considered discriminatory, okay? Because we cannot discriminate, okay, from one country, from one citizen from another. Okay? Australians, you say, so what's the big deal? The big deal is that if a Malaysian wants to practice medicine in Thailand, okay, they have to take the Thai licensing examination. But for a Thai to come and work in Malaysia, they don't have to take a licensing examination. Why? Because we don't have a licensing examination. In Thailand, they have a licensing examination, even for their own citizens. So they said it's not discriminatory because we have the same condition for our citizens and you must follow our condition. Whereas for Malaysians, once you come in and register with the Malaysian Medical Council, fine. We Malaysians don't have to take a licensing examination. Okay? But so the Thai comes that since Malaysians don't have to take for licensing examination, then you cannot impose another examination on us before we get registered. That is discrimination. Okay? And then person can complain to the World Trade Organization, and if you know what the punishment is, that if you don't comply, sanctions will be imposed on the country. Okay? So that is the main reason. Okay? Because it will be to our disadvantage. Okay? And as I mentioned earlier, when we discuss this, it is, you see there are two separate things. Registration is one. Okay? So that's not much. Employment is another issue. Okay? For registration, since we say that because the free trade agreement, we have to give automatic registration for this particular doctor from Thailand. Okay? Whether they get employed is another issue. Okay? It's not an issue of the MMC. Whether person who registered with the Malaysian Medical Council get employed in the country, it's not MMC's problem. Okay? MMC's problem is to give you a license to practice in Malaysia. Then you go and work yourself. Okay, same thing in the UK. If somebody comes from Italy wants to work in the UK, wants to go to UK, okay, then they are given automatic registration because of the EU thing. Okay? Whether the person gets employed by a private hospital or by the National Health Service, NHS, it's another matter. Okay? It's an employment matter, it is not registration matter. Okay? So in Malaysia, we're not too concerned about the public sector, because if you want to work in government hospital, you have to go to the public services department, and then they have the condition. Okay, you have to have Bahasa Malaysia, CE, all that. You fulfill that, you can work, and you have, of course, one thing is that for PhD you have to be a Malaysian citizen. That's not discriminatory. Okay, because that is the duty of them. But we are more concerned about the private sector. Okay? The private sector, as you know, most of the, all, okay? Previously, all the private hospitals in this country are run by companies. Okay? And companies are, are very profit-oriented. Okay? And easily, in business, it's quite easy. If you want to maximize your profit, you increase sales and you decrease costs. Okay? So you get profit. So if you make a lot of money but your cost is high, you don't make much profit. So in business, it's very easy. You increase sales, you cut down costs, then you make profit. So because of this, then we will be fearful that the private hospitals who want now to employ some of these doctors from Thailand, from Philippines, from Indonesia. Why? Because then Malaysian employees are not good employees. Okay, that's why when you go to hotels, now all the reception, are Indonesians, Filipinos. Okay, plus if you go to yang jadi guards, they're all from Nepal. Okay, you go to any the security guard, all from Nepal, and that is actually free trade. Okay? So we are fearful that one day all the private hospitals will be run by foreigners. No Malaysians can work there because Malaysians, they want high wages. They want leaves. They want to take emergency leaves. Okay, here there. Grandparents mati, mak mati, auntie mati. So every time they want to take emergency leave. But these foreign workers, no issue. You tell them work 20 hours a day, they work 20 hours a day. You go on call every alternate day, they are willing to go on call every alternate for less income. Right? So the main threat is to the private hospitals, and we've seen this. Okay? Most of the services in Malaysia now are unfortunately being run by foreigners, not Malaysians anymore. Okay? Because to the employers, it's cheaper for me to hire Indonesian from Bangladesh or Indians, from India, rather than employ a Malaysian like Dr. Ng. He demands so much money. I'm a cardiologist. You need to pay me X amount of money so much. And employ a Thai cardiologist. It's cheaper. So that is our concern. So that's the reason why if we have this licensing examination, then at least we can control. Okay? And so what is the progress? The progress of MMLE. So the Ministry of Health is fully supportive of this. Okay? We have, the Minister of Health himself, the medical doctor, is very supportive of this because he understands the issue. The main thing is try to the stakeholders, mainly the Ministry of Education. Okay? Not so much Ministry of Education because the basic people in the top don't know very much. Okay? They mainly rely on the local universities. The local universities, unfortunately, are not so much for this. Okay? The reason being they think that if MMC were to have another examination, it's as if we are not recognizing their program. That's why their graduates have to take another examination before they register. Okay? So we are trying to tell them it is not that. Okay? Recognition is recognition. Licensing is licensing. Okay? It's a two separate matter. Some of them says, okay, why don't you recognize our final examination as a licensing examination? Then it's actually back to square one. Okay? Back to square one means if you recognize, say, University Malaysia final examination as an examination equivalent to a licensing examination, then your SM says, why only UM? Okay, give to UM. Then UKM says, why only UM and UKM? You have to be UKM. And then say, IMU now will say, why you discriminate against the private universities? We can't answer that. We give to IMU. The Manipur Melaka also asked for that. Same. Now they say that, okay, in University of Indonesia is recognized by the Indonesian Medical Council. Why can't you give that recognition? So it's back to square one, what we are now at the moment. Okay? So it is going to be a problem. So we do that, then it becomes. So we are trying the stage of buying. So it's better of telling them it is not a hurdle. The examination itself is not going to be an examination that is going to make it so difficult for people to pass. We're saying that as long as you meet the minimum requirement standards of a person that can function as a health officer the next day, then you should pass. Technically, if you come from a good program, okay, all of you should pass. All the medical students should pass. Because it's not an exam designed to fail. Okay, we are not having an examination to fail students. We are just going to have an examination to ensure that people who pass the examination meet a certain standard. Okay, so we are in that phase of trying to buy mainly in terms of our biggest stakeholder with the Ministry of Health, because the way that things work in the country. Okay, if you want to have anything done, because this requires a change in the Act of Parliament, okay? Amendment to the Medical Act 2012. Okay? So obviously, if there's any change in the Act, it has to go to Parliament. Okay? And the way that it has to go to Parliament, yes, it has to be approved by Cabinet first. Okay? Cabinet has to approve any amendment to any Act, okay, before it is tabled to Parliament. Okay? So if you were in Cabinet, you have all the ministries to give feedback. So if you can't get the buy-in from Ministry of Education, that will be shot down in Cabinet, okay? And it will never see the light of the day. Okay? So that's why we're in the stage of buying in mainly from Ministry of Education. The public ada tahu dengan issue. Okay? Why? Because we already have a licensing examination for another professional body, which is the nursing board. Okay? And we are lucky because of the nursing board examination. Because if not, I think many of the nurses in the private hospitals will probably be coming from Indonesia, from India, okay? Because it's cheaper to employ these nurses than employing Malaysian nurses. Okay? So there's a nursing board examination there already. So we say nursing is supposed to be a slightly lower category of profession compared to medical. If nurses can have a licensing examination, why not doctors? Okay? So it is not going to be a thing. Buying in from the public, I think it's not going to be an issue because we have the arguments for it already. Okay? So that's part of public. Okay? In terms of preparation, obviously MMC will need to conduct the examination. Okay? So our plan is that now, I'm sure you all know about the Malaysian qualifying examination. Okay? These are for examination for any students who come from unrecognized universities. Okay? Then they have to take this examination. Okay? At the moment, okay, or before this date, I would say, what the Malaysian Medical Council we recognized, I think, 16 universities in the country, public and private, where if students from unrecognized universities, they want to register with the Malaysian Medical Council, they are now assigned to any of the 16 universities to take the examination, and when they pass, the given recognition. Okay? So what we have done is that this Malaysian qualifying examination will now be conducted by the Malaysian Medical Council. Okay? Malaysian Medical Council itself will conduct this examination. Okay? So now Malaysian Medical Council will now have the experience of conducting examination. Okay? For MMLE, we have about 500 to 600 students from unrecognized universities every year, okay, who comes in to take examination, and said at the moment we just stand back as from this year because the minister has signed an amendment to the medical regulations saying that MMC can conduct the examination. So now MMC will conduct the examination for about 500 to 600 students. Okay? So if the medical licensing change amendment to the Act allows for licensing for examination for all medical graduates, then it's a matter of extending this examination instead of 500 to 600 graduates, because every year medical graduates in this country, I'm sure Dr. Dato mentioned, we have something about 4,000 to 5,000 medical graduates a year coming in. Okay? Both locals and foreign. Every year, 4,000 to 5,000. So it's a matter of doing examination not for 500 to 600, but going an examination of 3,000 to 4,000 students. Okay? It's not a problem because we are more or less following what the US MMLE is doing. Okay? Where we have two parts. First part is written examination. The written examination can be conducted. You have 1,000 students in one examination. That's it. Okay? It's one off. So logistically, it's not that difficult. And then if you pass the written examination, then you go for the clinical examination. Okay? The clinical examination will be so-called the OSCE time. Okay? We get students to take history, we get students to examine certain particular system, and of course they will be assessed on their competency of conducting examinations and coming up to a diagnosis based on that. Okay? So basically, MME will now become MME. It's just the numbers. Okay? The format will remain the same. Okay? The numbers will be just as I mentioned, 500 to 600 a year is going to be 4,000 to 5,000 a year. So it's meant instead of conducting the examination, say twice a year, we probably have to conduct the examination every month. Okay? So that there will be no backlog as far as students taking the examination. Once they pass, then they can be registered and can sort of go and register. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, that is the stage going into why we are doing the MMLE and how we're going to conduct that instead of our preparation in coming up with that examination stage. Thank you very much for your attention.